This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
All right, how are you getting on? You well? I've after spilling. Speaking of well, there's a well of coffee at my feet. Because I spilled coffee all over. Me fucking stupid Stanley Cup, that big knockoff Stanley Cup, right? My knockoff Stanley Cup that is so big I can't move the gears. There is no second gear for me. It goes 1 to 3 to 5 because I can't drop it down because me Stanley Cup's in the way, right? Anyway, that knocked over another cup, which isn't fit for purpose. It's not even a coffee cup. It's a little steel cup with a ghosty on it. It's my young fellas. But I needed a little keep cup walking out the door. And it has a round bottom that does not fit into the cup holders. And so it was kind of rotating anyway to begin with, and then I sped out a little bit of my drive. Checked, of course. Checked everywhere. You know, kids could be playing. I checked everywhere, but there was no kids, and I sped out because I was thinking to myself, I used to laugh sometimes at the idea. He would never do this, my father, but like, when we had like weekends with him, and then he'd drop us home, be sad to say goodbye or whatever, see him in a week or whatever. And I used to joke to my brother, it'd be funny if you just heard him like kind of revving his engine, speeding off, listening to like, yacht rock, And the song I used to always think in my head would be Working for the Weekend by Loverboy. Everyone's watching to see what you will do. Everyone's watching at you. Everybody's working for the weekend. Just speeding off his Beamer. So I was recreating that in my head. It's kind of had a funny image, because it's funny sometimes when I tell Terry I'm going off to work, because this is all play. This is no work, you is all play. So I thought it was funny being like, look, gotta go to work. Have to drop the kids off to creche, so I can do my work, so I can sit in my car and drink coffee and talk to my best friends. You! Okay, look. Listen, I need to tell you something. I know someone who fancies you, but he can't say it because you know him very well, and it's just me. Look, I fancy someone, right? And you're the one person I can't tell who it is. Because it's you. Very intense being a kid. But anyway, how are you doing? Another rainy day. Another stunning summer. I guess that's got to be the worst summer. That's got to be the worst summer on record. Don't show me the milliliters, you clown. I'm just being, I'm just being speculative. Don't fucking ruin it now by showing me the millimeters of rainfall, you clown. I'm just being speculative, right? I'm just joshing, right? But it's very, very wet. I was off in Dingle there for the week. I had a wonderful time, I have to say. Wonderful time. What a gorgeous peninsula you guys got out there. It's stunning. It's wild, truly is the wild Atlantic Way. Everywhere you go, you're driving on roads. A lot of time I'm driving on these roads and they're like, I'm always laughing to Terry. I think I've talked about this before. There's these roads going over a mountain, barely like on the lip of a cliff, right? Barely with enough size for one car, let alone a saloon car. All right, barely enough. And then and then you look at the Google Maps thing, and it says, "Oh yeah, the speed limit here is 80 kilometers an hour." I'm like, you guys are crazy. And you talk to people, outside of Dublin. Like, I don't know how you drive in Dublin, man. Oh my god, it's crazy in Dublin, man. How do you drive in Dublin? I'd never be comfortable driving in Dublin. Meanwhile, it's over a mountain at 80 kilometers an hour. Maybe even after having a little tipple. Not to speculate. Don't be showing me the milliliters, guys. I'm not speculating anyway. But wild roads. I always joke to Terry, I say, you see someone behind you, right? And if it's a Beamer, to be fair, I'm slowing down. Because Beamers are always in a hurry. So I'm slowing right down, you know, and you know, and I tell Terry, sometimes they're right up my hole. Beamers will always be up your hole, right? And sometimes there's a Beamer right up my hole. And I say to Terry, tell you, do you know what that D on that license plate stands for? It doesn't stand for Dublin. It stands for don't expect me to be going over 40 kilometres an hour. Okay? If you see that D at the back, right? The L plate used to say lick out master of course. The N plate used to say never ever ever stop giving lick outs, right? And that D plate, if I'm on a country road, take me home, I'll be going 40 kilometres an hour. And not a penny more. Okay? Because I don't know the roads and I don't like turning that much. Okay? We clear? But it was a wonderful time. Kids had a good time on the beach. What else could I say that is of note there? Now look, it was just great. And you know what I didn't have for the first time ever? Normally I have my 3-day, I'm on holidays, you know, wake up the third day, and all of a sudden I'm like, in what's it called? The Prestige. Christopher Nolan's Prestige. I don't want to spoil it for you, right? But there's a thing where Christian Bale's character, right, is his missus every so often is like, oh, you're different today. You don't love me today, right? That's how I go. I turn into a different person. Day 3. Day 1, woo, holiday. Day 2, I can't believe we're on holiday. Day 3, this is fine. Day 4, I need everyone to go away as soon as physically possible. I am not here. I'm a husk. I am the little alien driving the man suit from Men in Black, right? I'm not there anymore. Tyler's gone. Tyler went away. I'm giving you fucking 3 movie references here. That's pretty dense. So yeah, some growth there. I think I just actually like my kids a bit more, to be perfectly honest. I think I was telling you that I had this weird thing the day before we went off on holidays. The Dublin Comic Con was on. I was looking forward to it, and I was like, oh, fuck, young fella would love that. Same day as the stag. Turned out it was 2 days. I got to go on the Sunday as well, but couldn't believe it. Probably my second favourite thing after my kids are stag do's, right? Because kids, stag do's, wife. Okay? And, no, can't even. She's not fucking listen to this shit. Anyway, so, and then I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually entertaining the idea that I would actually prefer to go even late to a stag do so that I could bring the kids to the Comic Con. And let me tell you, I did go to the Comic Con, which is an overwhelming thing to begin with, but I was still like fucking, I was off me bin, lads. Like there was an edible going around that I ate, and I was out off me fucking bin at the stag, having a great time, but a scary time for a little while. I'm not going to lie. Because let me tell you, when someone gives you something, and then they're like, look, it's like kind of a light, you know, even if they say it's a light, whatever, take half. I mean, just take half of that. Even if it's a light, they say, it's a little bit of a tingle or whatever you might feel, and then you can go back to maybe, that sounds fun, right? And but when you're going to space, and you know, that's fine. You can prepare for that. You know what I mean? You can say goodbye to the wife and kids. I miss the earth so much. I miss my wife, right? It's lonely out in space. If you know that, you can prepare for that. I can start recording all the videos, McConaughey style, for the kids. Being, you know, I'm going to be back on your birthday, Murph. Don't let me leave, Murph. Don't let me leave. You know, you can prepare for that. But when you don't know you're going to space, you're like, oh, this is interesting. And especially if you're in the middle of talking about fridges or something. I think I was talking about fridge. My mate was telling me about he had an issue trying to install his fridge. And let me tell you, I don't give a fuck anymore. I used to have this thing when I was in my early 30s being like, I can't believe we're talking about the weather. I can't believe we're talking about fridge-freezer combos. Can't believe we're talking about fucking washer-dryers. What are we doing? Why are we talking about Spider-Man again? And he would be freaking out. Now I fucking love it. I love it. Okay? So I was riveted. But then I was like laughing my ass off at it, and he hadn't even got to the funny part yet. And I'm like, oh, all right. So fun stag, have to say. but would prefer to have not been there in space with the memory of a goldfish. I don't know if you've ever been too high, but it's can't remember what you just said, which is funny. But I'd say it's very annoying. I'd say it's very annoying for people around you. Anyway, wonderful time. And then the next morning, I'm still kind of like wavy going to the Comic-Con, you know. But I did buy all the 4 real Ghostbusters toys, the ones that have the scary faces. Bought 4 of them, all 4 of them. Now they're reissues, but they look great. I still have them in the packet, and they were like marked down, ridiculous, like a tenner each. I was like, what the fuck? This is incredible. So, result. But tough enough wrangling the kids. Sonny came up with his own costume. He was like, I want to be Anakin Skywalker. He had a braid down the side. He loves Anakin Skywalker. He doesn't like the idea that Darth Vader is bad. And this is exactly what I was worried about when the fucking prequels happened. You've totally nerfed Darth Vader. I remember watching Empire Strikes Back being like, this guy's a bad dude. This is scary. It's cool. You don't know what he's going to do. He could kill anyone. And then you're like, now I know, like, Darth Vader now is more the Anakin Skywalker story. And it's upsetting. There's more content with Anakin Skywalker than there is Darth Vader. Darth Vader has totally been nerfed. And so now we play with the Darth Vader figures, and he's like, yeah, but this is Anakin and he's good. And I'm like, well, it's going to be pretty tough when you watch A New Hope, young fella, and you see him choking out lads. All right? It's going to be tough for you to see, let alone him taking out all the younglings in episode 3. Anyway, very overwhelming, I have to say, going to a Comic-Con when you're still, I said it to Terry, it was like, I always think of that Bilbo Baggins quote, I'm tired, Gandalf. I feel weak like butter spread over too much bread. That's what I felt like. And then we went off to Dingle. It was lovely. I had a lovely time. Anyway, what was I saying? Didn't get Oasis tickets. Oh, fucking absolutely. What? Hey, what is this business about having... Also, found out about Oasis. Sometimes I love living under a rock because I don't watch the telly, and I pretty much exclusively just go onto Reddit now. Occasionally go onto social media. And I saw people posting about Oasis and Croke Park, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I don't have the stamina now to start seeing other people mention stuff and then me trying to find the original source. In fact, you know what I'd love? I'd love a little plug-in to see people's tweets or Instagram posts that will explain, I'll give you a list of news articles related to what the relevancy of this thing. I hate having to, I've said this before, you go on Twitter. I will never call it X. I will never call it X. You go on Twitter and they're like, someone posts something being like, great work, Kanye. Or, Kanye fans this morning and a meme. And I'm just like, do you know what? I'm not fucking arsed. I'm not arsed now Googling, what did Kanye do? Hey, internet, what did Kanye do? So it was nice living under a rock and having, someone tell me that Oasis is playing Croke Park and the tickets are on sale Saturday. It's what a joy. We get all this information. We see a bit of good news. And they were like, whoa! But it's isolated on our phone. Maybe we might WhatsApp it to someone. We might get onto someone on the blower. Maybe. But a lot of it is this kind of like, oh, that's cool. How great is it when someone just kind of like relates big news back to you? Hey, guess what? Like I wake up sometimes in the morning and Terry, like me and Terry have been asleep and I wake up and I look at my phone and I say to her, oh, see what Trump did or whatever. And she goes, oh, yeah, I saw that. And then she'll have the full story. I'm like, how is this possible? How is this possible? And we don't even talk about it unless one of us brings it up. Imagine we were just like, got to share some news, sit there at a newspaper, read out articles to each other, decide how we feel about things. I like to have someone else's opinion before I have my own. So it'd be very beneficial if we can have these opinions together, Terry, first. And I could take all your cool notes that you said and your insightful statistics or whatever. And I could relay that back to someone else and claim it as my own, please. So then, yeah. Didn't have a plan. Me and my brother tried to get, my brother Andy. He couldn't Like you couldn't plan for two worse boys. Two least two boys with no plan other than logging on and trying to get tickets. And I love Oasis. I love Oasis. Oasis was Andy's favourite band growing up. He had all the B-sides and everything. So, like, I knew all those B-sides before Masterplan came out, actually, because I'd be sitting there in his room playing Crazy Taxi, and he'd be playing these tunes for me, okay? Might have been probably was, actually. Dreamcast was 98. We would have been playing something for sure. Maybe GoldenEye or something. Probably WCW, NWO Revenge. Anyway, listen to Oasis, hearing all these B-sides. They're amazing. I love Oasis. Now, I have a bit of headcanon when it comes to Oasis, in that it's definitely maybe What's the Story, and then Be Here Now, and then everything else, a couple of tunes that have popped up in the periphery. I love reading about Be Here Now when they made it, and even just look at the cover. There's too many things on it, and then the songs are too many. There's too many slide guitars, there's too many solos, it's too much. There's helicopters, Noel Gallagher said for years he couldn't listen to it because all he can hear is the cocaine. It's just too much of a muchness. So when we got up, logged on, there's a lobby to get into the waiting room to get into the queue. But the queue opens at 8. But at some point, people were already in the lobby in the waiting area. I had 160,000 people ahead of me. Andy had like 300,000. And genuinely, I was thinking like, all right, hang on. Like what? They're probably all buying 2 each. That is more than that would be 4 times now the capacity. If they're only buying 2, if they're all buying 4, which they're entitled to, that would be 8 times the capacity. No, 5 times. What would it be? 2 would be 300, 600. Yeah, it would be 8 times the capacity of what Croker could hold. And I'm thinking, all right. So is there any, what's the mortality rate? I was thinking, you have mad thoughts. You have mad thoughts. And I found myself dipping back into a real Veruca Salt mentality. I was a big Veruca Salt back in the day. I wasn't very mean, but I would certainly get upset and sad if I couldn't get something to kind of quash whatever anxiety I was going through. Do you know what I mean? If I needed a game and then I went to the shop and I didn't have an extra vision, I'm a sad boy now. I'm sad, all right? They don't have clay fighters. Mom, I want to go to Extravision to rent clay fighters. And we go, man, clay fighters isn't here. All right, I'll ask the man. No, he says they don't have it. This is going to be, it's going to be tough. I was an asshole child. Well, whatever, going through my own shit, right? And then I thought I'd kind of turned a corner when I tried to buy the Nintendo Wii and it was sold out, and I was like, that's fine. Because, I have a bird now, do you know what I mean? I have a bird. I'm in college. I got mates. I drink. I got a lot going on. It'd be fun to have the Wii, but I have other kind of bits going on. But then with this Oasis, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so, yeah, we didn't. We failed. We failed miserably, and I can't believe it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to spend loads of money. Might just go down there. Chance it. Do you know what I mean? Just try and walk in. What is it you can wear? Like maybe a high vis, maybe? Does anyone... Yeah, don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. If anyone's buying or selling tickets, well, selling tickets, I don't really care if you're buying. If you're selling tickets, do get on to me. If you bought loads, right? If you bought 4, do you know what? If you bought 4, right? And you bought one for one of your mates, maybe 2 of your mates, but you haven't told them yet, I'll go with you. Come on, I'll go with you. You can get the hit show experience live. We'll go together. I might bring a mate, but we'll go. I'll be talking to you most of the night. It'd be great. Would you like to be part of a meet and greet with your hero, Tony Cantwell? Well, you can, for the simple price of an Oasis ticket. I'll go with you. I'll get you all the beers. Well, within reason. If there's anyone who's sober, ideally come to me first. But I'll get all the drinks, you know. I'm not one for kind of pushing in, trying to get into the front of the crowd, you know. A lot of people are very good at that. I'm not very good at that. Spend enough time in the fucking mosh pit, mate. Spend enough time in the fucking pit of hard knocks, right? Birds doing windmills. Some of the birds in the mosh pit, you fucking clean your clock like they'd be sparked out. People doing windmills, spinning their arms around. You're like, you know I'm here. You know I'm here. What are you hitting me for? I just like this song. I just like listening to this band cover My Friends Over You. You know, we're all having a good time here. So spend enough time in the pit. So I'm not one. So if you are looking to bring me to Oasis with you, I might be standing at the back. All right? I just want to be in the room where it happens. I just want to be in the room here and everything. Ideally sitting, actually, to be honest. I don't really like standing anymore. It's really raining now. In other news, Good Boy! The sitcom that I wrote with Hannah Mamalis and Virgil Costello. Produced by the fine man Julian Callan and the fine people of the RTE Player. Gotta tell you, the unsung heroes of RTE are the digital folk there at the Player. I've never met a more competent, smart, hard-working, with genius curation of their interests. If they had the fucking reins, not that they're kicking off, don't fire anyone, not that they're kicking off, they're not, but if they did have the creative reins, we'd see a completely different beast. But anyway, the promo dropped, the first clip of myself and Deirdre O'Kane. Do you know what? My ma watched the clip, all right, and I was like, what you think? And she goes, I liked it, but I didn't like you calling Deirdre O'Kane ma'am. And I was like, and I laughed, and she was like kind of a little bit serious. And I'm like, oh my God, like you're so serious. And like, I didn't like it at all. Oh, why didn't you get on to me? And I'm like, I know you're not joking. I know you're not joking. Because we had to do it in very quick time, ma'am. You know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of time in the set. So I didn't get on to you because you're not an actor. You don't even like speaking in public, you know? So it would have been tough, you know, to train you in acting. But you are my ma'am, you know. She was very jealous. And Deirdre O'Kane, I will say, incredible actor. Credible. And it was amazing acting alongside Deirdre. I've been a huge fan of Deirdre since, you know, Path to Freedom, Intermission. And it was one of those, fucking Deirdre O'Kane here. And then I've become pals with her since doing the LOL show. Is this Tony's name drop corner? Is it Louis Walshore? Bono, he's the horn for? Let's find out in Tony's name drop corner. Here we go. You can. So my best friend Deirdre O'Kane we were acting together. I did ask her if she would play my mum with the full knowledge that she's far too young. All right. Not even the fact that, like, even in theory, she could be my mom based on age, you know, which maybe through teenage pregnancy, maybe that might make sense, right? But I've call a spade a spade. I look older than I am, all right? I look older than I am. I wish I didn't, but I do. In terms of my age, my highest age is probably my metabolic age. That's pushing 40s now, right? Maybe a little bit less since I lost a bit of weight. Then it would go to how I look, right? And I look older than I am. I'm 37 this year, right, in October. So metabolic age, you're looking around 39. Maybe I need to have the scan again, right? Then how I look, probably actually higher, to be honest. Probably higher. Maybe I'll probably look 41, to be honest. Look 41. Metabolic age around 39. My actual age, 36 and a bit, right? And then as old as I feel, hey, 17 years of age, man. 17 years of age, man. Bang, bang. Half my age. Half my age, man. Still feel 17. Well, no, I probably feel about 27, to be honest. Which is still 10 years younger than I am. Anyway, Deirdre O'Kane, far too young to be my mum, but it was nice. So that was a clip that went out to launch Good Boy, which is coming out October 16th. And I'm going to be on the Late Late. I've decided I'm going to be on the Late Late. I just haven't decided what my stance is going to be. I need something serious to talk about. I might put forward my candidacy for Voice of the Eurovision. Might be a good time to do that. Might come out and say, look, I love Marty Whelan. All right? And whenever he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, chap could do it for another 30 years. He's a fucking pro, right? If they're looking for, or I wonder if they could do, maybe could the player do an alternative stream with different, should be able to select. Do you know what I mean? Let Marty do his thing. Because I wouldn't he's quicker than me as well, you know? I think if I actually was hosting the Eurovision, I'd be like, oh, look, a green dress. Look at was Oscar the Grouch called. Said he'd like his skin back. Anyway, this is Poland. You know? But I'd have planned on me bits. And I'm very good at making pre-planned bits look like it's regular conversation. Ask me mates. So I'm going to be putting forward my candidacy for Eurovision host when I don't even know if I'll be on. It's a player show. Probably not. Probably not. I hope maybe it'll be Tony Campbell's on here to promote his new show, Good Boy. And joining him on the couch is, Detective Inspector Fergal Sharkey or whatever, to talk about some fucking Magdalene Laundry Commission. You know, that's what'll happen sometimes. Sometimes rather than like double up on like a couple of lols, I will get two comedians on. It'll be like, we need something to balance out the misery. Magdalene Laundries. I tell you, the bloody notions people go into a laundrette. Why didn't they wash their own clothes? Oh my God, my heart fucking, that'd be the end of my career. That would be the end of my career. Don't be putting me on with any Fergal Sharkey of the Magdalene Commission. Please. I'm not going on. They're not going to have me on. Maybe. No, they won't. Well, maybe. I'll figure it out. But I tell you what I'm enjoying. Looking forward to it. Because it's coming out October 16th. I have between now and October 16th to look forward to it. Look forward to it coming out. Look forward to people seeing it. And things, things might not last. Hopefully people like it. I've seen it. I love it. So it's already a success. But I get to I've talked about this before, but you got a wedding coming up. It feels a little stressful and it's all happening, but there's a momentum to it. There's a purpose. There's a purpose to the calendar because you have this kind of milestone thing coming up. And then that's over and it was great. Best day of your life. And now it's, the now what is a scary thing. The now what, it can be a scary place. So I'm trying to prepare myself for the fact that it's coming out October 16th, so October 17th, or maybe even the week after, will be a kind of, hey, no time here for now what? Because you don't really get to just stand in the reflection. You don't get to stand in the appreciation of something that you've done. It's not really how things work. But yeah, I noticed that in my journaling, guys. In my morning journaling. I'm on a real fucking... I'm back on that, self-improvement, listen to productivity, fucking YouTube's kick, Doing that with it, maybe not. The wasted hours. Let me tell you the worst productivity hack I've ever had, getting into productivity hacks. Probably the biggest drain of my time is productivity tips and tricks that I don't ever apply. But I love it, man. I love it. Makes me feel like I'm one of them. One of those GTDs, man, getting things done. But with that, living in the space of potential, of looking forward to something. That's why I've always said, if you're going to come home and surprise your ma, just tell her, right? Been away in Oz for 7 years, tell your ma. Give her a date. Tell her something you want to do when you're back. Let her look forward to it. She's going to feel the empty hole that you're going to leave when you fuck off back there, right? Anyway, I've said this time and time again. I'm banging an old drum, all right, with that shit. But there's also a danger in looking forward to things too much. I've noticed that in my journaling, guys. When I'm doing my morning journaling, I've noticed that a lot of the things I'm writing about are things that are coming up, things I want to do, things, nice plans for the kids and for Terry and for little projects I might want to do. And it's great and it's exciting, but I feel like, I don't know, I had this epiphany just this morning. I'm like, I'm writing a lot in the fucking future tense. Like, what would a present tense look like? I am, you know? I don't know. I don't even know if you can. It'd be very boring. Or even in the past tense, a bit of reflection. That was a really amazing moment, that thing that happened. Great. Snapshot. Try and remember it. I don't know. It's a proto-thought anyway. Not worth talking about in the podcast. But listen, it's absolutely pissing down here. And I have to go meet my beloved young hot guys in the studio to record a podcast. It's been a while. So I love you so dearly. And if you like this podcast and would like to listen to more of this podcast, and podcasts that contain my general interests, movie reviews, lists of things that I like. I got a couple of Mount Rushmores where I pick my top 4s of things. It's a lot of fun. You can do so over on Head Stuff Plus. There's a link in the description here. And for the price of £1 a month, you could support this podcast and the Young Hot Guys podcast if you listen to that and get bonus content from that as well. So listen, I love you and leave you. All the best. Bye-bye.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.